Hello everyone. Now this is the middle part of Norma basilis. Anterior part of Norma basilis we have seen in previous LCD. Now this is the middle part of Norma basilis. Anteriorly there is this hard palate and posteriorly this middle part is separated from the posterior part of Norma basilis by imaginary line passing from anterior margin of foramen magnum. Here in the medial part you can see this posterior border of vomer. This is the posterior border of vomer. This posterior border of vomer, it splits into two parts superiorly into two ala. So these are the ala of the vomer. This ala of the vomer, they articulate here with the rostrum of the sphenoid bone. So this is now sphenoid bone which projects a small projection, that is the rostrum, which articulate with this. On each side of this posterior border of vomer, you can see that the posterior nasal aperture or choana. Posteriorly, you can see this is the bony bar which is formed by fusion of body of sphenoid, inferior aspect of body of sphenoid, and the inferior aspect of basilar part of occipital bone. Here. Now, on this basilar part of occipital bone, you can see the pharyngeal tubercle. So this is pharyngeal tubercle. Pharyngeal tubercle, it gives attachment to median pharyngeal raphe. To the superior constrictor muscles of pharynx, they are inserted on this pharyngeal tubercle. Anterior to it, here there is the upper end of this pharynx, and here there is the pharyngeal lymphoid aggregate, that is pharyngeal tonsils are there. Lateral to this pharyngeal tubercle, there is origin of the longus capitis muscle on each side, and on more lateral aspect, here there is attachment of rectus capitis anterior muscle. This vomer, it splits into these two ala, and now this is the medial pterygoid plate. It sends this process, this is known as the vaginal process of medial pterygoid plate. This vaginal process of medial pterygoid plate here, and this is the ala of vomer. In between this you can see a canal. This is the vomerovaginal canal. This vomerovaginal canal usually do not transmit significant structure. More lateral to it, here now this is the vaginal process of medial pterygoid plate, and here there will be palatine bone which sends a sphenoidal process. Between that there is the palatino-vaginal canal. Here in each side you can see the palatino-vaginal canal. So this palatino-vaginal canal, it transmits pharyngeal nerves and vessels. Laterally, this lateral part, it is formed by this pterygoid plate. This pterygoid plate, it is coming from the junction of this body of sphenoid and greater wing of sphenoid. So it descends downward. Posteriorly, it splits into two parts, medial pterygoid plate and lateral pterygoid plate. Here you can see, this is lateral pterygoid plate and this is medial pterygoid plate. Anteriorly, they are fused and they form junction with the maxilla. So this is the suture between this pterygoid plate and maxilla, pterygomaxillary suture, and this is the pterygomaxillary fissure. Now here, posteriorly, this pterygoid plate of the sphenoid bone, here you can see this is the medial pterygoid plate, this is lateral pterygoid plate. Now, medial pterygoid plate, now this is the posterior border of medial pterygoid plate. Superiorly, medial pterygoid plate, you can see this is the scaphoid fossa, which is somewhat boat shaped, so it is known as scaphoid fossa. And this is the posterior border of medial pterygoid plate, and this is the inferiorly, it shows the pterygoid hamulus. Now between two pterygoid plate this is pterygoid fossa. Medial pterygoid plate, in the middle you can see this is the processus tuberous, and at the inferior border this is pterygoid hamulus. This scaphoid fossa, it gives attachment to tensor villi palatini muscle. Here processus tuberous supports the medial end of the auditory tube. This is processus tuberous. Below this processus tuberous, this border, it gives attachment to pharyngobasilar fascia and superior constrictor of pharynx. This muscle is arising from this border. This pterygoid hamulus, it gives attachment to pterygomandibular raphe as well as to the origin to the superior constrictor muscle of pharynx. So this is the medial pterygoid plate. Now this is lateral pterygoid plate. Lateral pterygoid plate, on its lateral surface, gives origin to lower head of lateral pterygoid muscle. So laterally it gives origin to lateral pterygoid muscle, while lateral plate on its medial surface gives origin to medial pterygoid muscle. Now this medial pterygoid plate, here below, above this scaphoid tubercle, just here there is a foramen is there. So posterior end of pterygoid canal, behind which there is, you can see there is the foramen lacerum. So anterior wall of foramen lacerum, here there is pterygoid canal opening which transmit pterygoid vessels and nerves. Here anterior wall of this foramen lacerum, above this medial pterygoid plate, the foramen is there which transmit the pterygoid vessels and nerve. On lateral to this lateral pterygoid plate, you can see this is the surface which is somewhat pentagonal in shape, having 5 sides, and it is formed by this greater wing of sphenoid. And lateral to it, you can see the parts of temporal bone. This is the tympanic plate of temporal bone, this one, which is forming anterior wall of this external acoustic meatus. So this is tympanic part of temporal bone. Then this is squamous part of temporal bone, and this is the hardest part, so like a rock. So this is known as petrous part of temporal bone. While this part, this is pentagonal in shape and is formed by greater wing of sphenoid. Now here anterior boundary of this greater wing of sphenoid is forming this posterior lateral margin of inferior orbital fissure. So this is inferior orbital fissure. Here anterolaterally it is forming, this is infratemporal crest. So anterolaterally it is forming infratemporal crest, and posterolaterally it is fusing with this squamous part of temporal bone. Posteromedially, here it is articulating with the petrous temporal bone. Posteromedial border of this greater wing of sphenoid, it is showing this foramen. This is foramen oval, which is oval shape foramen. Posterolateral to this foramen oval, there is foramen spinosum. This is foramen spinosum, and behind it, posterolateral to foramen spinosum, you can see this is a spine of sphenoid. So this is foramen oval, this is foramen spinosum, and this is spine of sphenoid bone. Now structures passing from foramen oval, these are mandibular nerve, which is a branch of 5th cranial nerve. This mandibular nerve has 2 roots, motor and sensory root. So the foramen oval transmit motor and sensory root of mandibular nerve, then accessory meningeal artery, lesser petrosal nerve, and emissary vein, which connects the cavernous sinus with pterygoid plexus of veins. So these are the structures passing from the foramen oval. Behind that, there is foramen spinosum. Foramen spinosum transmit middle meningeal artery and nervus spinosus. This nervus spinosus is a branch from the trunk of the mandibular nerve. Now here behind you can see this is the spine of sphenoid. This spine of sphenoid, here I am coloring it with this chalk. So two tensor villi palatini and tensor tympani, and the three ligament, that is SPA, SPA, that is S, that is the sphenomandibular ligament, pterygospinous ligament, and anterior ligament of malleus. The spine of sphenoid is related with two nerves. Medially there is chorda tympani nerve, and it is this medial aspect also related auditory tube, while laterally there is auricular temporal nerve on this spine of sphenoid. So two nerves on two sides of this spine of sphenoid. Now this is the greater wing of sphenoid. This inferior surface, it forms the roof of infratemporal fossa, and this surface gives attachment to the upper head of the lateral pterygoid muscle. Now here on lateral side you can see this is the mandibular fossa which articulate with the head of mandible. This is the tubercle of root of zygoma which splits into two roots. Anterior root forming this anterior wall of mandibular fossa, posterior root forming lateral wall of mandibular fossa. Now this is the zygomatic process of temporal bone. Now here this is the tympanic plate. Tympanic plate, and here this tympanic plate, between these two parts you can see this is the fissure. Here you can see squamotympanic fissure here, and because of this downturn edge, the fissure is divided into petrotympanic fissure and petrosquamous fissure. Petrosquamous fissure, it transmits the structure. These are the CAT, you can remember CAT structure, that is chorda tympani nerve, then anterior ligament of malleus, and anterior tympanic branch of maxillary artery. Now here this is the petrous part of temporal bone. This petrous temporal bone, now here at the apex it shows this foramen which is irregular foramen known as foramen lacerum. So posterior wall of foramen lacerum shows opening of carotid canal, and anterior wall of foramen lacerum shows opening of pterygoid canal which transmit pterygoid vessels and nerve. So this foramen lacerum is so named because its margins are irregular. It is 1 centimeter in dimension and it is covered by cartilage in life. So no structure is passing through and through of this foramen lacerum, which is important except for the ascending branch of middle meningeal artery and emissary vein. However, this foramen lacerum on its internal aspect, it is traversed by the internal carotid artery. So internal carotid artery is passing above this foramen lacerum. Inferior surface of the petrous temporal bone, which is somewhat quadrilateral, it gives origin to the levator velar palatini muscle. From here, posterolateral margin of greater wing of sphenoid, and this is the petrous temporal bone. Between these, this sulcus is there. It is known as sulcus tubi. It lodges cartilaginous part of eustachian tube, also known as auditory tube. So here there is cartilaginous part of eustachian tube which leads to the bony part which is inside this petrous temporal bone. On this petrous temporal bone, on the inferior surface, you can see this opening of the carotid canal. So this is carotid canal. So here on one side I put the thread into carotid canal opening on inferior surface of petrous temporal bone. It transmits internal carotid artery with sympathetic plexus around it, internal carotid venous plexus. It also transmits emissary vein connecting pharyngeal venous plexus and cavernous sinus. Now just to understand how the course of internal carotid artery, from here the carotid artery will enter into this petrous temporal bone, then it will travel through this petrous temporal bone from the carotid canal, then from the, here you can see this is foramen lacerum. In its posterior wall there is anterior opening of carotid canal. So from artery will enter from here above the foramen lacerum, it will traverse it, then it will be coming here, then it will enter into this carotid groove on each side of this hypophyseal fossa, and then we know how the artery will be coming from this carotidoclinoid canal, which is converted by a ligament into a canal between these two clinoid processes, anterior and middle clinoid processes. So this is the course of this internal carotid artery.